What's going on, everybody? It's Sasha, your licensed real estate market expert here in Charlotte. And is this the new normal? If you've been to a grocery store, if you've been to restaurants, if you've looked at your car insurance bill, your home insurance, your property taxes, I'm sure you've noticed that everything has gone up. My car insurance used to be $105. Now I'm paying over $140 a month. Nothing's changed. Clean driving record, no accidents. I didn't buy a new car worth $50,000, $60,000 plus or anything like that. I called my insurance guy and he basically said, Sasha, the cost of everything is going up. The costs of vehicles are more expensive. The cost of the labor for getting your car repaired is more expensive. And by default, we have to raise these prices. Unfortunately, it's what we're seeing in so many different sectors in the economy. And is that going to be the new normal? Yes, unfortunately. Eggs that used to cost $2 are now $4 or more. That price is not going to go down. And now the Federal Reserve is talking about printing more money. They have printed almost a third of the money that is in circulation in the last 4 years. And look what that caused. It caused all of this inflation to go up. It caused all of these prices to go up. And now their genius idea is thinking of doing it again. Now, the real estate market does correlate with inflation. It does correlate with a lot of these other economic factors. But the difference with the real estate market is it's one thing going wrong that could cause a domino effect on a bunch of other things. Specifically here in Charlotte, if Bank of America, if Wells Fargo, if Lowe's, if this week, next week, if they announced a 10% layoff, a 20% workforce layoff, things could drastically change. We could potentially see a flood of houses for people that bought, that were on the higher end of their affordability, having to sell their house. I'm already seeing a lot of houses, as I mentioned previously, and I'm seeing a lot of houses that are tax delinquent. And these are people that bought houses 10, 20 years ago. And now in those certain areas, their houses have tripled, if not quadrupled in value, and they can't afford to pay their property taxes on the house. The house they bought 10, 15, 20 years ago was $200,000, $300,000. All of a sudden, it's worth close to $1 million, and they can't pay the property taxes on the $1 million. However, never in my lifetime have I seen so much discrepancy with what's happening in the economy versus the real estate market. Every single time, every day I watch the news or if I read a new article, I see 10, 15, 20% layoffs happening in different sectors. We see AI starting to replace a lot of jobs. And for some reason, it's not correlating with what we're seeing in the real estate market. But in regards to the real estate market, the thing you have to pay attention to is sticking to the basics. It's common supply and demand. If we happen to see the supply shoot up, we will see prices come down. Our biggest fault and our biggest problem in Charlotte is that our inventory has been very low for a long time. The last time we've seen 3 to 3.5 months of inventory was in 2016 and prior. Since 2016, 2017 up until now, we've been hovering at 2.5 months of inventory on the higher end and even lower than that now. That 2.5 months is essentially cut in half. There's not enough homes to go around for the demand for the homes that we have here in the Charlotte area. If you guys watched my last video titled, Is Anything Stopping Charlotte? You'll know that based off the data, for every 100 people that leave the Charlotte metro area, 168 new people come in to the Charlotte area. So we are very much still an inbound state, and a lot of people are still moving here due to everything that Charlotte provides. Now, one of the interesting things that the chief economist for Redfin said was buyers may get a break on housing costs in the coming months. Now, I'm not sure if they're speculating house prices to go down, but with them saying in the coming months, the Federal Reserve is planning to start cutting interest rates around June. But what will happen when interest rates drop? Home prices will go up. A lot of the buyers that are on the sidelines waiting for the interest rates to come down are going to start getting back into the market, and we don't want to see that. If we see the rates come down a decent amount, we're going to see another 5 to 10% increase in home prices potentially. And I've said this for the longest time. If we see the rates come down in the mid fives or so, a lot of sellers are also going to feel a lot more comfortable putting their houses on the market. But the amount of houses and the sellers needs to outweigh the demand that we have, and we haven't had that. It's been 8 years since we've had inventory above 3 months of inventory, which is essentially considered a neutral market. It's been 8 years. And I know there's a lot of people that leave comments under some of these market report videos and say, it's not going to last long, something's going to happen, these prices are going to come down by 100,000, by 200,000. I've been hearing that for 4 years now. When I started real estate in 2018, I was hearing that Charlotte and the houses were overpriced during that time. And since then, home prices have almost tripled, if not quadrupled, in certain areas. I want you guys to stick to the basics: supply and demand. Eventually, I don't know when, but eventually we will build up that inventory. Unfortunately, it's taking a lot longer than I've expected, and I'm sure it's taking a lot longer than you've expected. I want a neutral market that's healthy for both buyers and sellers. Right now, it's so hard to sell and buy something at the same time. And along with all the other economic factors that are happening, there's so much uncertainty happening. In regards to the real estate market here in Charlotte, it reminds me of the same market we had in 2018, 2019. The houses in the nice neighborhoods that are move-in ready are selling. I still am seeing a ton of multiple offers on houses. Things are just all over the place. I mentioned in the last market report the house that sold just under $200,000 over the listed price. Yes, we are still seeing that. And now more than ever, I'm seeing such a big discrepancy in regards to the buyers in the market that are $500,000, $600,000 plus looking for homes, and the ones that are $350,000 and under looking for homes. That wage gap is so crucial, and it's also what's causing a lot of the stir in the real estate market. Some other things, however, that I am seeing that is a little bit on the brighter side is a lot of sellers are listing their houses at more realistic prices, which is definitely a good thing, and you can still find a good deal out there. You have to have your pre-approval ready, and you need to be searching daily, and also maybe taking a look at trying to find off-market listings. This year so far, I have a seller that I sold their house off market, and I also have a buyer that I helped get a house that was off the market. That's a niche right now that I'm working my way into bringing into, and I'm hoping to do about 5 off-market deals this year. So if you're a buyer out there wanting a good deal, they are out there, but timing is the most important thing when looking for this, and seasonality is also going to play a big factor in what's coming. Right now, we're in the spring market. Things are starting to heat up again, and we're going to heat up even more as we head into summer. As soon as kids are out of school and families want to make the transition, want to make the move to a different district. So we're going to see a lot of interesting things take place. But with all that being said, if there's anything I can ever answer for you personally, call, text, or email me anytime. All my contact information is listed right here below. Now let's get into the actual numbers so you can digest them and make sure you're making the right decision for yourself and for your family. So keep in mind, even though it's April right now, all the information we go over is going to be from the month of March. We do that so we have an entire month of data compiled together for the most accurate information. So in regards to new listings, we had 4,805 new listings in the month of March, and that is a 2.4% decrease from this time last year, and it's roughly about 600 more new listings than we had in the month prior. However, if you take a look at the 2 years prior, during the same time, we still were in the negatives, negative 6.4 and negative 7.5. Now we're at negative 2.4, which it looks like it's getting better. However, we still are on the lower end. There's not as many sellers currently that are off the sidelines wanting to list their house, as a lot of people have anticipated they would. In regards to pending sales, we came in at just under 4,200, and that is only a 0.3% decline in pending sales. But again, look at the years prior, they were both in double digits. This is telling us that the demand is still there and there's still a lot of buyers scooping up these houses as they hit the market. Now let's get into days on market, which is directly correlated with the pending sales. And days on market came in at 41, and that is a 16.3% decrease from this time last year. And essentially what this is telling you is that demand has picked up just over 16% because people aren't letting houses sit on the market as much as they did the year prior. Now let's talk about prices. And normally I don't talk about the average list price because you can list your house for whatever you want it to. I really care about what the actual sold price is, but I just wanted to include this in there just for reference, because average list price just hit an all-time high of $527,000. The highest it ever was prior to was $525,000. Now let's get into the average sales price, which is what the house actually sold for, and the median sales price. So the average sales price came in at just under $481,000, and that is an 8.5% increase from this time last year. And again, we are almost at our all-time highs for the average sales price. We're just above $4,000 under. Prior to this, the highest sales price that we've had was $485,000, and right now it's just under $481,000. In regards to the median sales price, there is no change from the month prior. We came in at $385,000 for a median sales price, and that is a 4.5% increase from this time last year. Again, there's a very big discrepancy between the buyers that are looking for $500,000-$600,000 plus houses versus $400,000 and under. And median sales price is staying relatively stable, and we're seeing a lot more movement in the average sales price. But again, I like to focus on the median because in the Charlotte area, we have a lot of houses selling in the multi-millions, which that pulls up the average sales prices in regards to all of those. So if you're a buyer looking to break into this market, if you're a first-time home buyer, the median sales price is going to give you a good idea of the range around where you should be to find a home. Next up, we have percentage of the original list price received, which came in at 97.4. That is a 1.2% increase from this time last year. This number is essentially telling you you can expect to pay 2.6% below the listed price of a home when it is closed. There's still a lot of negotiations happening. Obviously, if a house comes on the market on a Friday, they have multiple offers, it's more likely going to be selling above the listed price. But for some of these houses that are sitting on the market for a couple of weeks, a couple of months, you can work out a pretty good deal. And if you can't work out a pretty good deal on the front end, chances are if the inspection comes back and there's some stuff that needs to be repaired or some concessions need to be given, there's a very high chance of that happening. Obviously, every situation is different, so make sure you know what you're going into prior to submitting that offer. Last but not least, the thing that is keeping the prices where they are, supply and demand, months of inventory. Months of inventory came in at 1.7 months of inventory, and that is actually a 21.4% increase from this time last year. As some of the houses are sitting longer and as we have the new listings coming in, it's accumulating our entire batch of months of inventory. Unfortunately for us, we need a lot of accumulation to take place. As mentioned, guys, we have been since 2017 at around 2.5 to 3 months of inventory, and now it's almost cut in half. There's still so much demand for the real estate here, or I should honestly say for the real estate in the nice areas that are move-in ready. Buyers really want turnkey houses in this market, which leaves an opportunity for you if you're willing to paint, do carpet, do some potential upgrades. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I hope you enjoyed this video. Call, text, or email me anytime. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye.